Red Alert 2 World Series coming at you, and I have a great game for you guys here today. We got a couple of the best players in the world going at it. Quas, the Death Robot, who's looking like the #1 player in CnCnet right now, facing off against Luke the Jedi. We got some Allied versus Soviet action, and we're here on the Tropic Thunder map. Now, what I love about this map is you have all these different zones, and you'll see as the game develops, these guys are having to manage their splits, and they're managing action all across the map. It's always fun to watch a couple of the best players in the world have a challenge like this. It's going to be a good one. Let's get right into it. And as always, if you're enjoying the content, liking, commenting, subscribing, all that stuff is free for you. It helps me immensely trying to get more people watching, playing, and streaming this beautiful game. That's what it's all about, boys. RA to the moon. All the arguments with Soviet versus Allied, the rebalance, which one's better, this and that, and all these different things, they're all canceled out when you make players play both. That's really like, that. It's fair. Like if Allied is OP on certain maps or Soviet's OP on certain maps, if both players play both factions, in theory, it cancels it all out. It's like playing chess. I heard Sneer say this in the Discord recently. He's like, it's like playing chess, but only playing white. I'm like, that's a good point, man. Like, I like the idea of balancing the game simply by making the players play both, getting them out of their comfort zones and forcing them to try to make the best out of the situation that they have. And it's certainly fun to see. Again, I think so much of the meta, when you talk about meta, I always say current meta, which is funny because meta stands for most effective tactics available. Anyway, when you talk about meta, you're talking about most effective tactics available. A big part of that is that top level players, like you look at the total time spent, best players in the world playing the game. There's so much more time spent playing Soviet that you also have more metas, more theories and strategies and ways to play certain maps. So another thing to consider is that, by having more top level players play Allied, the meta could certainly get better and certainly can change. And we've seen that, I think, in recent years as well. Some of these kind of meta redefining pioneer style players who play Allied at the top level and are able to do things, show, new tactics. You watch Woody, of course, who's the most dominant player in the world right now out of China. He plays Allied. We saw him the other day playing Latov, like dismantling Latov's Soviet, using Chrono Legionnaires to take out Deso bombs and things like that. So Allied certainly has a lot of tools in their inventory. It's just hard for the mortals, there's players to juggle it all, obviously compared to the Soviet style, which is a little bit more straightforward, certainly. Early tech push here for Luke, again, with Soviet, again, taking this topside position. These were random spots this time as we move into our third point here. And we're going to see the Battle Lab push. So Quas expected this again. Quas out with some nice Grizzlies, but Luke was able to hold this center position. So Quas going to look for value elsewhere. Quas has a nice army, but a Paradrop down here as well. So Luke looking to push tech and slow things down. Desolator's already out and a Dreadnought out. Oh, but he has quite a few Rockies here, but the Destroyers are going at the aircraft carrier. Oh, it gets no value out of it there. So now the Sea Scorpion so strong. Rockies on the backside deal with that Paradrop. So Quas does get forced down the right side, doesn't get any value. Both these players really showing their top-level skills here, playing on both sides of the map early on here. The Sea Scorpion goes elite, going to completely nullify Quas' ability to counter in the water with Rocketeers here. Oh my god, Sea Scorpions are nuts, man. Cruiser comes out. God, can't imagine there's any need for that. Cruiser comes out now. Rhino's now coming as well. Rockies in to kind of help, but the flak track on the backside for Luke help defend these Rockies. And Quas loses. No, Quas will hold the water here. Will Quas hold off this attack? These Rhinos are scary. Quas needs to get a pillbox in this fight. Nothing happening on the back end at the moment. All the action right here. So you see Quas running with these 3 Grizzlies. No reason to engage here. If you keep running, you keep dangling. Maybe you buy yourself some time. Paradrop out of position here. That MCV going down sells the Battle Lab. Quas trying to get some money in the bank here. Tried to kind of bait that MCV. Came in a little bit too late. I don't think he could have gone head on anyway. It's interesting watching a player like Quas because he won't make. Oh, Quas on the, yeah, I like that. Yeah, nothing on the backside except Quas taking out the IC. Quas does get on the backside and gets an IC, so does get a little bit of value there and maintains his production. Gonna lose the naval yard. Gonna lose that naval yard. The elite Rhino in that group, very, very scary. Got on the backside and got the IC at least. Oh, and got this expansion. Yeah, nothing on the backside except Quas taking out an expansion and taking out an IC. However, Quas now down. Well, Barracks War Factory AFC He's got some money in the bank as well. Gonna try to put some pressure on. Sneaky paradrop right side. Luke just looking to try to chop him off the limbs here. A couple rhinos on this backside. We'll take out that expansion as well. Quas' economy gonna get in a tough position here. Not much map control. Does have some miners still working, but gonna head down the gut here. Drives right past these sentry guns. Gonna take quite a bit of chip damage. Grizzlies already. Grizzlies are pretty much made with chip damage already. So unfortunate here as they get into a bit of a line of death. Just too many rhinos in this position. Throws the Rockies in well as well. Just trying to make kind of a last hoorah here. But not looking good for the Death Robot, though he does get that War Factory. We do have Luke still producing this. Whoa! The Rockies come. Oh, the War Factory. Oh, he has power. Oh, the nuclear reactor. I was like, maybe he doesn't have power. Yeah, a couple Rockies can be so annoying if you don't have power, obviously. No War Factory, no flak tracks, but it does have that nuclear reactor. Flak cannon it comes out to hold. Barracks going down. Dude, both these, I love to see it, man. Both these guys fighting from the grave in both these points. Quas still producing, boys. Oh my gosh, he's just out of range. If he gets this nuclear reactor, paradrop on the backside, more Rockies coming in. Oh, the flak cannon comes. Oh, and Quas pulls out. And those decisions are so hard to make. You poker players out there, it's like folding jacks. You're out of position, you get jacks. What are you gonna do? You're under the gun? What do you do with your jacks? I'll tell you how good of a poker player you are. You're under the gun, you get pocket jacks. You fold them. It's the hardest thing to do. No one wants to fold the jacks. In that case, no one wants to pull those Rockies out. 9 out of 10 players would have left the Rockies, tried to take the nuclear reactor. They wouldn't have gotten it. Quas did the calculation. He pulled the Rockies out. To have that sort of discipline is so tough, particularly when you're fighting off the ropes down in MCV. So many players would be tempted to be like, fuck it, I gotta go for it. The discipline there, absolutely incredible. These Rockies are reaching a very scary number. Takes out that airport. The flag track's now chipping away. Oh my god. I mean, Quas is going broke though, right? Oh, he didn't lose this expansion. He still has that oil at least, but he lost his refinery. Rocky's going left. Grizzly's going right. Luke's not going to be able to get in the water. These dolphins are locking up the water. Luke loses his right side expansion. Both these guys going broke. We've seen a battle of economies in all these games so far. Both players, in all of our games, I feel like players smoking it to the filter. Harriers chipping away at the rhinos. Rockies on the backside. Paradrop on the backside. Rockies split now. I'm a fan of this map, man. I'm only going to stream this map from now on. I like it. I'm a fan. We just streamed this map. Tropic Thunder. Red Alert 2 World Series Tropic Thunder events. That's all we run. All right, well, let's play a game called What Are the Odds That I Miss Something Important? Rockies on the backside, paradrops on the backside, and Quas the aggressor right now. And Luke has to keep reminding himself, I have an MCV, I have an MCV, I have an MCV. Don't freak out, don't freak out, don't freak out. Repairing his rhinos, preparing for the siege. The paradrops get walked in. And you've got to look, Quas juggling so many things right now. Counters with the flag tracks, very nice. A group of flag tracks, very nice counter for an infantry push like that. Oh, that's a monkey. I thought that was a spy. Yeah, a couple different ways to siege a castle, boys. You can fling infected corpses over the walls. You can try to battering ram down the gate. You can try to use ladders. Or you can circle the enemy castle and starve them out. Now, circling the enemy castle and starving them out without your own production to establish your own map control behind it, a little bit tricky, but I like the idea here from Quas containing the player who's up in MCV. Luke dead broke, boys. Luke dead broke in this position. Rocky's now coming in again, just trying to avoid these flag tracks. Scary group of flag tracks here, elite in that group as well, so needs to be very cautious. And Luke making a very clear statement here. I'm up an MCV, come get me. And you got to think one of those positions where if Luke could try to bring a few sneaky, even this one elite, right? Sneak that one elite, come take the barracks, come take the war factory. If Quas loses any of these buildings, he's out of the game. He loses a power plant, he goes low power, he's out of the game. Loses the war factory, out of the game. Loses the AFC, well, certainly unfortunate, although I don't think he's producing Rocketeers right now. Quas on 3K. Oh, the elite rhino, the flak tracks come in. Flak tracks as fodder. Quas pulls out ahead. Now Quas going miner hunting. Luke forced to re-engage in this position. Quas has an army AFK on the right side, doing a great job on the left side here, and see if he can try to take out. Oh, and the paradrop comes in, trying to thin out those flak tracks to open things up for his Rockies. And And now the Grizzlies, not great unit control, but they have the higher ground here. Luke doing a good job managing the flat tracks. All the Rocketeers go down. Quas completely stuffed on the right side. Now he needs to get back over to the left side here. Nice little yo-yo action from Quas. Comes in, grabs the radar. And Luke gonna move the MCV. And so now Luke finally, like a coiled serpent, springing now. Oh, he drives into the GIs, drives back. He could have just drove right through. Maybe not, actually. Maybe not. He drives the MCV back. What do we know, boys? What do we know? I think that... I don't know. Luke's gonna lose. Luke's gonna, I mean, it's so, of course you look at this position, Quas the aggressor, and all the things Quas is doing, you're like, oh, Quas OP, Quas OP. It's like, of course Quas is OP. That's not the question. The question is, Luke is up in MCV. And in this kind of position, you'd really think that would convert into a win if he plays it slow, which he's been doing. He played it the right way, and Quas pulls ahead. Quas, the death robot, boys. I really thought... I thought Luke was the kind of player who would pull that out. You know, a lot of players, I could see him getting reckless, getting offensive, taking a big bite, and it costing him. But the fact that Luke played that... Well, then you see that game, and now you're like, well, why didn't Luke just head downfield, you know? So certainly a catch-22 there. Yeah, wow. Yeah, certainly. Well, now you see that. And again, I thought Luke played that the way that I'd see so many players would run downfield, and I'd be like, no, what are you doing? Da, da, da. But anyway, yeah, I mean, in hindsight, I guess Luke maybe should have been more aggressive. I thought if he sat back and got himself established, but again, one of those games where it's tempting to talk about the things Luke did wrong. I think the story is all the things that Quas did right. Yeah, very, very well played.
Они, так сказать, рожденные в Востоке.